The FemBioBiz Acceleration Program is focusing attention on women-led biobusiness initiatives and innovations that have the potential to transform the health and nutrition status of Africa's growing population. Africa, the cradle of mankind, with an abundance of natural resources, holds many of the solutions to the future of our planet and of the human race. Africans are by nature optimistic, gregarious, and inventive. Africans are great survivors and thrive where others would wither. The new generation of Africans are imbued with an entrepreneurial spirit and tireless energy to find solutions that will benefit all. The FemBioBiz initiative has identified and magnified this spirit. So let us all strive for a new dawn, the awakening of Africa, and the new Africans who will share her destiny. Muzalema's passion for improving society led her to establishing the Safe Motherhood Alliance Support Group and the development of her unique life-saving birth kit.
My name's Muzalema Maria Mwanza. I am the co-founder and managing director of Safe Motherhood Alliance. We are a social enterprise that provides access to low-cost products to women in low-income areas. So part of our products that we have is the baby delivery kits and the disposable banana sanitary pads. When I got pregnant, I realized that there were a lot of issues that I wasn't aware of, especially in sexual and reproductive health. I was living in Sivonga, got pregnant, and came to a health clinic similar to this one, and got told that I needed to bring certain things for my delivery, which set my mind to think, why in this day and age would I have to go look for gloves? Why isn't it just expected? To which people would say, well, why don't you just go give birth at a private clinic? Then you don't have to worry about it. But the stats don't add up. Not everyone in Zambia can afford a private clinic. I could afford it, certainly, but what about everyone else? So it got me thinking to say, why isn't there a better option for people in low-income communities and rural areas? Which got me to do a little more research, got me talking to people, experts in the medical field, even the Ministry of Health. And it got me thinking, what can I do as a private citizen on my own, in my small space, that I could also be of service to my community? And then I started developing the kit. So the kit it contains all the essential supplies a woman requires at childbirth. So the WHO has what they call the 6 cleans. When you're helping a woman give birth, you should have clean hands, a clean perineum, clean surface, clean cutting tools. These might seem very simple, but when you're coming from a rural area or a low-income community, it becomes complicated. So the kit comprises of a black plastic, surgical blade, sterile gloves, a bottle of disinfectant, cord clips to tie the umbilical cord. So I put all that together, and the key is everything has to be sterile. So this has now become like an emergency kit. When you know you're almost near your days, it's something you carry with you everywhere that you go, so that wherever you're found, whether you're on your way to the hospital or even in your home. In Zambia alone, it's 1 in 13 babies who don't survive to a year-old, or 1 in 20 mothers who die during childbirth. And usually it's simple issues, complications sometimes during the birth, or even an infection. When you look at the stats, you realize that, I'll give you an example of Kanyama Clinic, where we are right now. This is an area which has 120,000 people. And the clinic alone here has to handle over 50 to 80 births a day, a night. It's a low-income community. These are people who survive on less than $1 a day. So the need is huge. They need access to the materials that they need to be able to have a safe birth. And even when the women come in here for their antenatal visits, they're told the same thing. Come with your birthing materials, or we won't be able to give you the help that you need. Zambia currently has anywhere between 600,000 and 700 births per year. So of that number, 53% give birth from home. So which is why we came up with Safe Motherhood Alliance, to try and see how can we help women have access to the tools they need when they need them, and which is during their labor. FemBioBiz has been an amazing experience because it's helped me innovate my product even more. When I came in, I had a product, but through the mentorship, through the trainings, I've learned to develop my product even more and make it better, to be able to see the social impact that we want to create. When this project started, I was just one woman, and I was just trying to find out how can I best have a healthy birth. But the support I've had from government, from the ministry, from the clinics, when you walk in and you think, I'm just a small company, are they going to listen to me? And you realize they open their doors. They say, we've been actually waiting for you. This is what we've been waiting for. We need this. Then you realize you can make an impact in your small space. And also the key is to work with other women. Our TBAs have been amazing. They've embraced the idea. They realize even on their own that some of the practices they were doing are some things that have been passed on from their mothers. You know, putting toothpaste on the umbilical cord because they were told it's got healing properties. Oh yes. You know, putting even, stuff that's not supposed to be. And yet, if you leave the umbilical cord alone and you tie the cord clips and you cut it, that is all you need. So if we tell a traditional birth attendant that, she will carry that knowledge with her, pass it on to her friends and other people, and we can see the change happening immediately.
Nazia Foods was launched by social entrepreneur Winifred Nachivula to provide nutritious indigenous foods manufactured from the agricultural products of small-scale farmers.
My name is Winnie Nachivula. I'm the founder of Nazia Investments Limited. We are an agro-processing company that has specialized in production and supply of local traditional Zambian foods. And the products that we are currently dealing with are fresh frozen cassava leaves, which is katapa, fresh frozen cassava chips, and these products are all coming from one plant, and that's the cassava plant. Then we also have the cassava meal, cassava flour, and also the cassava gravy and soup thickeners. Besides that, we also have other traditional products like the, we call it finkubala, that is mopani worms. And also we have the samp and the pounded groundnuts. So those are the traditional foods that we are working with at the moment. So it's like we have the frozen range and then the dry range as well. Traditional foods because, looking at the lifestyle that we have adopted, it's a lifestyle where people are too busy to eat a proper healthy meal. And then when you look at there's so many health conditions that have come up, diabetes, hypertension, you find it in young people because of the types of foods that we're eating. But when you look at our traditional food, most of them are organically grown, they are healthy, and the nutritional values are quite, it's something that is good and beneficial to our health. So we picked on the traditional food so that we can bring these foods on board into our busy lifestyle so that people don't forget about these foods. And we make them readily available in the local markets, that's the supermarkets and the other chain stores. What inspired me is first the knowledge that I've acquired about cassava. It is one crop that is easy to grow, and it's a crop that is drought resistant. It doesn't need any fertilizers, it grows naturally. But from this plant, you utilize every part of it. Our first point of entry was actually game stores. And then also we've actually branched into other supermarkets. Our products, you find them in Food Lovers, in Melissa, in Cheers, and other outlets. So that's why we specifically target our suppliers who are within this short distance of space. Then, we work with the women in Chongwe. It's a women's group. They are our main suppliers. They've already done it's not that we are the ones who've helped them to be like, for them to grow the crop. They're already growers of the crop. And then the chisamba is also that's where we get our fresh leaves as well. The tubers, we also get them from Rufunza and chisamba. So these are our main suppliers. Then for the dry products, that is the cassava flour and the cassava meal, For the cassava flour, we have a youth group. These are the youths that have been trained on how to actually process and produce the cassava flour for baking. They have been helped by an organization that helped them to buy the equipment, and they've trained them. Now they didn't have a market where they can take the product. But because we had been in discussion for quite a long period of time, they knew about us before they even started the project. So it's like we went into a contract whereby they do the production, we buy the cassava flour from them, and then we are actually doing the marketing. So it's like we've already opened that market for them. Then for the cassava meal, we have a women group that is based in SANBio, and they are the ones who actually do the processing for us. From the ground, they make it into flour, and then they put it on the bus, and it comes to us. Same from the team that is in Kaoma. It's an agricultural scheme. They are the ones who actually do the production for us. I can see us really expanding, and our point of expansion actually would want to target the southern region. Wow, Cape Town, I know there'll be lots of other people in the competition, and my expectation is that it's another opportunity for me to really, experience, enjoy, and continue to learn on how best we can make, our food attractive, our foods to be, acceptable, and also even just to share what the varieties that we have here in Zambia with our neighboring countries. That experience will be something that will make us to stand out, and why not be the winners?
Science and lab technician Sicelo Dube sees the opportunity to support youth in STEM education through her company, LEC Biotech.
My name is Sicelo Dube. I'm a passionate scientist and entrepreneur, the founder of LEC Biotechnologies. It's a company I founded when I was 23 years old to meet the demands of educational institutions as far as lab equipment, chemicals, consumables is concerned. What inspired me is my love for lab work. So I studied biochemistry by default. I was not too sure even what I wanted to do. I just knew I had good points in science, and my sister was teaching already at the University of Zimbabwe. And then she just said, come and join the Faculty of Science. So that's how I ended up studying biochemistry. But as I went through it, my love for lab work just grew. I just wanted to spend more and more time in the lab. So when I finished, I decided I'm going to be a lab technician at a high school. I was 22 years old. I went and I joined a high school in Bulawayo, and I was doing their lab work, working with students every day and seeing how there was such a great shortage of lab equipment. Every time I had to be sent to South Africa to purchase those things and come back, and I had to go to other schools to borrow stuff, and sometimes they would not even have. So now when I'm going to South Africa, I'll be buying for 5 different schools. So at the end I said, okay, so there's a gap, and that's where I think my entrepreneurial spirit came from, to fill the gap. And I started a company, Laboratory Equipment and Consumables. When I look at the journey from where I started it and just wanting to distribute and going on to do my master's and seeing how much more is needed in the field of biotechnology, I then decided, let's be innovative as a company and start making the things that are needed to serve our community. So we've started making chemicals. We've started even coming up with other formulations for high schools for testing different foodstuffs. We've made a better version of Benedict's solution. And we're really trying to look at the needs for the educational institutions especially, and we're being innovative in that space, working with a team of scientists, and a lot of them being interns who are energetic and so ready to do something innovative. We're keeping on helping to grow especially our education sector in Zimbabwe. We have hit to the call for more STEM, which is a global call. And in Zimbabwe in 2016, the government adopted a new curricula which is STEM-based. So I think we're quite ahead because we've really made sure that we put a lot of incentives for students who decide to embark on STEM careers. especially the girl child. So if you're a girl, you get scholarships if you want to study STEM in some tertiary institutions. And some tertiary institutions are just opening up to say, if you want to come and pick a career in the STEM field, your tuition will be half or it will be for free, like you get a scholarship. So I think we're doing quite a lot of initiatives in our country as far as, STEM education is concerned. The FemBioBiz competition has opened up my mind. When I went for the first boot camp, I was just thinking, okay, I just want to talk about LEC and what we do and, talk about how I've started it. I was just thinking me, and me. But as I was interacting with everyone else and listening to everyone's idea, my idea became even, my want for what I pitched became even stronger. The need to have a solution that is relevant to the community. As LEC Biotech, what are you going to do to advance entrepreneurship, innovation in the space of science and technology? It really changed my way of thinking. I think the future for a young girl child who wants to do science, especially in Zimbabwe at this moment, is bright. When we did our undergraduate degrees in biochemistry, we just thought we're going to be teachers or we're going to further into pharmacy or medicine. But now there's this innovation and entrepreneurship approach to the curricula, which just positions the girl child, especially at this, top of the ladder. And you can do anything that you want to do. And in Zimbabwe, because of the high rate of unemployment, we really want more girls, being innovative and starting their own companies in this space of STEM. And there are a lot of incubation hubs starting up. And I'm also part of that initiative in Zimbabwe where we're opening doors to students who are girls and we're saying innovate and start your enterprise. After the FemBioBiz competition, I can safely say 20 years from now, we'll be $1 billion company tapping into the global market share for enzyme manufacturing and production, which is estimated to be 6.3 billion in 2020. I'm sure LEC Biotech will be having a fair share there, spearheading innovation in Zimbabwe.
With an extensive knowledge of the benefits of indigenous plants and biotechnology, Nyarai Khurab Kaseka formed Kaza Natural Oils, a supplier to multinational brands such as Coco Chanel and L'Oreal.
My name is Nyarai Khurab Kaseka. The name of the company is Kaza Natural Oils. It is a producer of indigenous cosmetic and pharmaceutical ingredients. I have been working with a lot of communities in the past, and they were producing products that they couldn't channel to the market. So I saw an opportunity there for somebody with the expertise and the know-how to be the conduit between the community and the market. Okay, I have a bachelor's degree in biology and biochemistry. And a master's degree in biotechnology. Along with that, I've also gotten qualifications in marketing and cosmetic formulation. I was involved in research, mostly around plant species. So that's how I got to know about a lot of properties that plants have and a lot of products that we could get from a lot of plants. When I was looking at a lot of cosmetic ingredients, a lot of them were synthetic and very chemical, and from my background, I felt that this was something that I could offer that resonates with me, something from nature, something that would be effective. We are creating seasonal employment, so the suppliers, the farmers in the rural communities can earn incomes during the times that they are harvesting and pre-processing products that we buy. There's also more awareness on environmental issues because we are promoting sustainable harvesting, not only for the resources or the plants that we are trading in, but in general. And then also there are a lot of trainings that we've given to the community in food safety, hygiene, handling, and environmental issues. At the moment, we've got about 6,800 registered farmers who are supplying us with various raw materials. We've recently started selling our products into Asia. into the Far East. We've gone into Japan and South Korea. And for me, those are huge markets. We are dealing with people, suppliers at the bottom of the pyramid. And a lot of the species that we are dealing with are in areas where there is not that much agricultural productivity going on, and income opportunities for the farmers there are very little. And these resources that we are trading in don't require any initial investment for the farmer. Unlike agricultural products, they require inputs and a lot of time. These resources occur in the wild, so there are no barriers to entry for the rural farmers. Anybody can get involved and start making money from us. So at that level, it addresses poverty alleviation. And in this community, this is a farming community, there are also not that many employment opportunities. A lot of the smallholder farmers in this area are involved in other things apart from agricultural production. So there were no jobs in this area. So by us coming here, we've also created employment at that level, because a lot of the people working here are from this community. And we've also contributed towards employment of this nation. So in those percentages, CASA has a figure. I think this has opened up a lot of opportunities for us. The competition in itself, I think, gave me an opportunity to re-evaluate the things that we're doing. There were a lot of brilliant women there doing brilliant things. And you know, when you're existing in isolation, you tend to think you're brilliant until you see other brilliant people. And I think that has also sort of prompted me to start thinking a level higher. And now with this competition, the next level that we're going to go to, I'm looking forward to the trainings, mostly because at least, you know, that opens up my mind to new ideas and new information, and also the interaction with other experts and women in business. Whatever ideas you have and whatever dreams you have, pursue them and talk to somebody. There are a lot of people out there who are willing to mentor people, young entrepreneurs or even students. And when you talk to people, you get ideas, you learn new things, and that's how you can, you know, move your idea to the next level.
Having seen the potential of the seed business in Zambia, Sarah Ngwenya started a grain distribution company incorporating thousands of small-scale farmers.
My name is Sarah Ngwenya. We run a company called Kalomo Grain Marketing Limited, and our main subsidiary is called Supreme Oil. In Supreme Oil, we are into production of edible oils and its byproducts. And when I started farming on my own, I realized that when I'm harvesting, I'll find that my crop in the middle field will be stolen. The villagers had the problem because my field was right there. And so each time I go to harvest, it used to happen at the time of harvest, I'll find that in the middle of the field, they have stolen all my crop. So I realized that they are not doing it deliberate. Obviously, they are not having enough, or probably they are looking for food to eat. So that's the reason why I brought the women, only the women, because it's very hard to work with the men. So I asked the women to form a cooperative where we can now distribute seed, and then we buy off the seed, the grain after the harvest. And so we started with a very few women, 100, but I think the impact was so much that so many women started joining, and most of the women that we gave the seed, they paid back. And it was so amazing that they were able to give us the recovery, and then we were able to buy what had remained out of the recovery. So that's how it all started. And today we have grown, the women are about 5,000, and we have managed to capture women from different villages, apart from where we are working from. So we have like 40 kilometers going inside the other villages. So that's how the passion came about. And also, from my media work, I realized that a lot of companies, they are able to use the groups, you know, the villagers and these cooperatives but they don't really have a plan or a strategy for them to help them come out from a certain level of poverty. Usually what they'll do, they'll just use them and leave them there. But for us, we went a step ahead to say that since this business is viable and sometimes we make a lot of money, so we wanted to be sharing the dividends at the end so that they see even the women have ownership. The State Department awarded us $100,000 US, where we are putting a solar plant. So this solar plant, it will power into the processing plant. When we were having those interviews, we were told why we were awarded the contract. They said because there's a woman component in there, and those women, you have actually given them the shares in your company. So we are very safe with giving you money because we know that it's not for you alone, but you are looking at a bigger picture. Yeah, we've given shares to 300 women, and their total share holding is 900 shares. And this is, we cannot give to all of them because there are 5,000. It means that they will take up the whole shareholding of the company. And what happens is that when we have meetings, it's only the chair lady of the cooperative that comes in the meeting. There was a call from government to say that farmers, it's high time you should add value to your crops. And they were telling us if you are into grain, if you are into groundnuts, you can do peanut butter. If you are into sunflower, you can make cooking oil. And for us, really, we had all this, we had a variety of crops. We had maize, we had soybeans, we had groundnuts, we had all those types of crops. So we took advantage of that because we were very restricted to selling of grain. But when we saw and we did some research, we found that cooking oil actually was on demand. And so we launched it at the very right time, and that's how we've continued with the cooking oil business. And then from SANBio, our value proposition is that they have opened our eyes to look at the world, that the world is so big, we must not restrict ourselves in Zambia. And now you can imagine the platform that will be given. So it's up to us to perform. We can just come back here with an equity partner. So we are so grateful to the exposure that we've been given. We want to take our business a step further. So we have to really package it in a way that it is understood by an investor. My message to the women out there is that if they want to grow, they must not look at themselves now. They must look at the future, because the future has so much to offer. Like I will safely tell you that without the women that we have partnered with, we wouldn't be where we are, because we can't cultivate like 10,000 hectares of land. Nobody has that type of land now. We can only do 1,000. But if you want to maximize on your potential, you have to work with all these women. They have land and they have no seed. They have no fertilizers. So if you engage them, they will do marvelous works. But even when you're engaging them, there must be a benefit for them, because they are making you grow. They should also make them grow. So I think this is the message that I have to the women out there, and that agriculture has potential.
For further information on the FemBioBiz Accelerator program, visit www.nepatsanbio.org.